This was by far the most impactful episode of Sister Wives that I've ever seen. It changed my perspective on Robin and gave me a whole new appreciation for how dysfunctional Kody's thinking is. And in this reaction, I just want to talk about the discussion between Kody and Robin. Later on this week, Allison and I will do a moment-by-moment reaction of the whole episode, but for now, let's just talk about that fight. Before we get into it, please do hit that like button. You've been doing a wonderful job in the last couple of episodes, so keep it up. It's super helpful for the YouTube algorithm. Let me start by saying I believe, like most of the audience, that Robin played a role in the destruction of Kody's relationships with his wives. I think it's very clear that she inserted herself. I think that she was selfish and manipulative. She allowed herself to get between Kody and Mary, Janelle, and Christine. I think she saw it happening. I think she didn't care. And I think that she allowed things to devolve. But as it relates to the kids, I don't think that Robin is nearly as culpable as Kody is. You know, the episode starts off with Robin taking care of Mykelti and her twins, sleeping in the closet, interacting with Christine. It felt clear to me that she was genuinely invested in her daughter. She was genuinely invested in being a mom. And then it's like smash cut to this conversation between Robin and Kody, where Robin is saying, Kody, why are you not fighting for your children? And Kody gives a bullshit list of reasons. And I've been thinking about this video, like, how do I talk about it? Because I found watching it to be exceptionally frustrating, because you're looking at a guy that is so selfish, so sick in his thinking, such a distorted sense of reality that it's hard to sort of gain purchase with him, because he's just throwing up complaints after complaints, all of which aren't true. So for the purposes of this video, let's just assume that Kody is right about everything. He's right that some of his kids have unfair contempt for him. His kids have been brainwashed by his ex-wives, and that's why they don't like him. His kids don't show any respect or loyalty to him. Let's agree that the whole family has unfairly turned against him. What now? Kody has made it really clear that his plan is to do nothing until he finishes grieving the destruction of his family.
Okay, so I've spent a year here just lamenting the situation. When I get over that, those children who are open to me will get my attention.
Robin keeps saying, hey, you need to go pursue your kids. Go make them talk to you. Make sure they know that you want to be in their lives. And Kody says, I can't, because I'm so heartbroken over the destruction of my family.
My heart is broken. Well, I'm sitting here with the person that I love the most in the world. I'm sitting here with a broken heart over these people who have shut me out.
Which I guess can we just double click on that comment, which drives me crazy. Kody has made it very clear that he was not in love with Mary, Janelle, or Christine. In this fight with Robin, he says, the only reason why these kids are upset with me is because I failed to love their moms.
I am only guilty of not falling madly in love with their mothers.
All right, so Kody, if you didn't love their moms, are you really heartbroken over the destruction of those relationships? No, you're not. And if you were really heartbroken over the loss of your kids, you'd do something about it. So it tells me what you're heartbroken about is nothing. You're ego broken. He's so used to being the king of the hill and the guy that's the most important, and he's so used to being validated that seeing Christine, Janelle, and Mary leave him has led to this narcissistic injury where he has to sort of recognize the fact that people are okay without him. That's why he's heartbroken. And because he's heartbroken over that, he's pulled inward and he's allowed his kids, the relationship with his kids, to suffer. So I know I derailed, but back to the question, Kody, what are you going to do now? And his answer is clear. I'm going to wait until my heart, my ego, feels better. So I think as a viewer, it's hard to watch that and go, wait a second, you're going to wait an indefinite amount of time until you feel better so that you can go talk to your son, Hunter? You're going to allow his contempt to grow for you for years? You're going to allow Gabe and Garrison to suffer the anguish of your relationship with them for years until you feel better? You're going to allow Maddie and her grandkids not to see you for years? It's hard. It's hard to wrap your head around. Like, why would you, how is being right? How is that worth the destruction of your entire family? And I thought we gained clarity to that answer when Kody made it really clear that he doesn't feel he has the same responsibility as a parent to his adult children.
But they're kids and they're trying to...
No, they're adults.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. That is the most horseshit view or perspective on a relationship that I have ever heard. You are a parent forever. Those kids will always see him that way, and he is responsible for helping them grow and develop, even after the age of 18. I was equally appalled when Kody made the comment, it's unfair that Maddie is mad at me for not seeing my grandkids in the last 3.5 years.
It's unrealistic expectation for grandparents to be in their grandchildren's lives all the time, especially if you move your children to an entirely different coast. I have work and a life in Flagstaff.
Let me say it this way. I understand that Kody has a ton of children, and those kids are going to have a ton of grandchildren. And I understand that it's going to be very hard for Kody to be involved in the lives of all of those grandchildren. And in my opinion, that is a problem that he created by having so many freaking kids. He was an irresponsible father, and now everybody is suffering from that. I can't have 20 kids and then be like, sorry, it was too hard to take care of all 20 kids. Wait a second, you had the kids. You are the grandfather. Get your ass out to Maddie's house. I don't know, I feel like I'm circling the drain here, but it was just, this episode allowed Kody to talk so freely about his frustration with his children and his complete reluctance to try and resolve the relationships. There's just no ability for him to hold himself accountable. Zero. Oh, one last thing. He kept telling Robin, I can't go and talk to my kids because I am worried that I am going to be triggered.
And I'm triggering like crazy.
I know you're going through...
I don't want to trigger while I'm in a conversation with them. I'm so angry about what has happened that if I talk to my kids, I'm worried that they'll trigger me with an accusation.
And I've screamed out the word triggered here. I'm going to let it go. What's interesting is that he's telling you, or telling us, telling Robin, I have no ability to have anybody scrutinize my behavior. I can't sit down and talk to Hunter and have a discussion about what the relationship was like with Janelle. I can't sit down and ask Maddie to start over. I can't sit down with, he can't do anything because those people, Maddie, Hunter, Gabe, Garrison at the time, would have given him critical feedback. And Kody doesn't have the ego strength to handle that. He's weak. He's shallow. He's vulnerable. And so his move is to just cocoon up and hope that Robin protects him.